Hey everybody, it's Marty from Side Effect. So for our first story, I'm actually going to tell you kind of the origin story of how Side Effect came to be in the first place. This is probably about 10 years ago, and I was in the middle of a rough patch, as a lot of us often go through, and I decided to start seeing a therapist. And it was something that I thought would be a help to me. It's something that family members of mine had done before and had gotten really positive effects from. So I thought that I would do it, with the hope that I'd be able to get through a particularly trying time that I was having. So I started seeing this therapist. I started going weekly, and the thing that kind of threw me off about my experience with this therapist was that right from the very first time I met with this person, their first reaction to the problems I was having was that I needed to get on medication. And I kind of butted up against that a little bit, and I had said to this therapist, like, well, can't we talk about it a little more and kind of try to work through things before jumping to that? But this therapist was pretty adamant that medication was the only way to solve the problems that I had. So I eventually relented and started on medication, but I never really got that sort of bad feeling out of my stomach about how readily that therapist was going to get me on medication to start with before even really finding out what the problems really were. So after maybe about a month and a half, I decided that this therapist wasn't a good fit for me, and I decided to start seeing another one. And eventually things started getting better, and I spent a lot of time working with that second therapist, to kind of talk through problems. And eventually I did go on medication with that second therapist, but it came after a long time of working with that person to really get to the crux of what my problems were. So I thought a lot about that therapist, that original therapist that sort of pushed medication on me right off the bat. And I really started to get upset about it because I really thought that, the job of a mental health professional is to really work one-on-one with a person and try to find out what those specific issues are that they're dealing with. So eventually, with my mind twisted as it is, I started thinking of interesting revenge fantasies on how to get back at that therapist as a result. And one of the things that I couldn't get out of my head was the idea that this therapist would be subscribing a particular medication to a lot of people, and then that therapist would fall victim to the side effects of that medication, and it would ultimately overtake them. And that script, that story, ultimately became Side Effect. So that's the film that we've got out in the world now. Rennie and Andre have done an incredible job bringing that script to life. The cast that they brought to it, the crew that they worked with, they just made an incredible film out of it, and I'm so happy for it. I'm so happy about it, and I'm so happy for you guys to see it, because I think it's really gonna speak to a lot of people, who've had bad mental health care experiences. So yeah, that's the first story of the night. If you're just watching this video for the first time, check out our campaign page on Seed and Spark. The URL will be in the tweet that I post this on. And hopefully we can get you on board. If you can make a contribution and join our team, then you can help us reach our goal and help us get the film out into the world. So thanks for listening, and hopefully you guys will see a lot more of these stories tonight. I'll talk to you soon.